For 20 years, I haven't seen something as important as AI today. And I'm very excited because as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, this is for me like an opportunity that nobody will ever have. At least you will be in, I don't know, by the time that electricity was discovered. For me, this is a breakthrough. This is a disruption as big as the creation of electricity or fire, much bigger than internet, okay, and much bigger than social media itself.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell, where our guest today has some expertise that I don't care which side of the business you're in, if you're a passive investor or if you are an operator, you are going to learn some stuff today that I think it's going to affect you in all areas of your life, almost all areas, whether you like it or not, I believe. And I'm not sure how to feel about it just yet, in general, but I know that I need to know more about it. And our guest today, Vanessa Alfaro, she is going to help us with just that. She's a founder of 5 7-figure companies in 3 countries. She's a real estate investor, a multifamily syndicator. She's done a lot. I mean, she's very successful. She's a founder of Venus Capital Partners, an REI firm with 50 million in assets under management, focused in using technology, innovation, and AI to succeed in emerging markets. She's born in Venezuela. Vanessa started her career in physics, but ultimately decided to chase her dreams as an entrepreneur and moved to business school. And so at 22, she founded a marketing agency. And, I think her and her husband, their first business had 2,500 employees. They grew fast. They have done a number of different things, but she has focused on being as efficient as possible using technology. And now AI is helping her to do this in major ways that is just changing our whole world, really, right? Because we do so much on our phones, we do so much through social and those things. In so many ways, it's helping us to be more efficient in ways. But she's going to help us to talk through lots of different parts of just artificial intelligence that I bet you didn't know. Some basic. We're going to start pretty basic, and then she's going to go into some specific uses for investors and operators, and that it's going to make your life a lot easier as a passive investor and as an operator. You're going to hear that today with Vanessa. Welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to diving into your expertise. Man, you are making it happen, and there's some specific ways, some skills that you have that I feel we're all going to need in the near future, but we don't have yet, but you do. And so I'm looking forward to diving in. But first, before we do that, give the listeners a little more about you, the companies that you're working through, building, and what your focus is.
Well, thank you so much for having me in your podcast. And from that introduction, I'm so excited to be here and so grateful, really. Um, so I am the founder of 5 7-figure companies. This is my 5th company. It's a real estate investment firm that is focused on technology and innovation. So we are disrupting, or I would say revolutionizing real estate. Okay. So as you can hear, English is not my first language because I was born in Venezuela. Okay. And that's when I had my first company. It was marketing company when we had up to 2,500 employees. It was really big. It grows really fast. And then we expand that marketing company to Panama City. Okay. We were looking for ways to diversify the income of the company, mostly because of inflation in my country. So we opened the second company in Panama. We had another company as well, trade show company. And then when I moved here to the US about more than a decade ago, I opened production and publishing company with my husband. Okay. And after that, we decided that it was better that he will stay in managing that company and we'll stay married, staying that way. Okay. And I started focusing real estate. That was about 5 years ago. And so this is my 5th company. Okay. We have 5 kids together. Okay. So we're going to keep it at 5.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the The backstory. I think it's interesting to think about the business background, right? Even up to 2,500 employees, I think you said
Mhm.
that's a lot. That's no small feat. And so many lessons learned, right? Through that kind of growth to move forward into numerous businesses now, obviously, and successfully. But let's jump in. I know you have a background in marketing, no doubt, the production side, all those things. But I don't want to waste any time. I want us to just jump right in because I want us to have the time for you to elaborate on this new thing. We all know, we've all heard of AI, right? Artificial intelligence. But I want you to break that down pretty simple at first, right? Well, what is that? What are we using? What are we thinking about? And I want us to jump into some real case scenarios, right? How you're using this, how the listeners can use this every day. We're going to talk about investors versus operators, and there may be benefits, right, to both sides that Vanessa's going to help us with today. But first, very simple terms. What is AI? Is this something that we should all be scared of? Is this something that is going to be gone in a month? I doubt it, but just fill us in a little bit. Maybe some of the listeners are brand new to AI, right, or haven't used it because they're put their toe in that water yet.
Wow, so many questions. I will have to use my AI to break all this down, Whitney, for me. But let me start saying that even though I come from a background of also marketing and publishing and production, because those were my companies before. Before being a marketing person, I am a business person. Okay? I am an innovator and I am a visionary. So doing business for me is what I like and what I love. Being an entrepreneur is what I, and I believe that innovation is the key for creating a successful business and a business that is a long term business. So, every business that I have in three different countries has just one thing in common. It's like we're always looking to reinvent the wheel. Does that make sense? So, everybody says, don't reinvent the wheel. We're doing always the opposite. We're always thinking how we can do things different. Now, for 20 years. Okay. My first company, it was 20 something years ago. I was 22 years old at that time. Okay. And we have 17 offices. But when I moved to Panama, it was in 2006 and it was the breakthrough of social media. And it was very interesting because we took advantage of that in order to create and recreate our marketing company into a digital marketing company. So we were one of the visionaries, okay, and leaders into digital marketing in that country. I personally opened a Twitter account of Martinelli, which was the president, is the former president of Panama, and of the first lady. Okay. So I met many people in the industry, but the thing is that innovation is really important in any of the companies that I have created. So for 20 years, I haven't seen something as important as AI today. And I'm very excited because as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, this is for me like an opportunity that nobody will ever have. At least you will be in, I don't know, by the time that electricity was discovered. For me, this is a breakthrough. This is a disruption as big as the creation of electricity or fire, much bigger than internet, okay, and much bigger than social media itself. Okay. So what is artificial intelligence in order to answer your question? Artificial intelligence is the field of computer science, okay, that creates machines capable of intelligent behavior. Meaning, when computer are programmed to be really smart and do things that normally only humans can do. But artificial intelligence has been here for years, years and years, maybe 50 years. So why is that right now in 2023 is so important and everybody's talking about artificial intelligence? That's because of Chat GPT. Because with Chat GPT, and if you haven't heard about Chat GPT is a large language model. So with Chat GPT, everybody realized and saw that this is the time when machines can think, act, respond like a human. 2023 is not going to be remembered. It's not going to be remembered as the year of inflation or as the year of bridge loans, or as the year of people losing their properties to foreclosure. It's going to be remembered as the year that humanity realized that machines can think and do everything better than humans can do. And ChatGPT gave us that opening to our eyes, okay, that holy cow, this is real, this is happening. Okay. So this large language model, okay, it has created the platform for everybody to have access to these supercomputers. Okay. And now something that huge corporations knew already, like Google knows and has been working on artificial intelligence for years, right? Facebook uses artificial intelligence for everything. That's how, if you Google a specific brand of shoe, then everything that you see in your feed is about shoes, right? But the difference right now is that ChatGPT has created this technology when everybody is available to access this super brain, okay, that thinks 100,000 times faster than our brain. Just to give you an idea, I'm going to stop after this. ChatGPT has 100, I think ChatGPT 3.5 have 175 billion parameters, and ChatGPT 4 has more than 100 trillion parameters. That's almost the same amount of neurons that we have in our brain. The only difference is that ChatGPT can respond and think 100,000 times faster than a human brain.
The growth is just, it's like we can't even comprehend it almost.
Nobody can. And
This
if you hear the CEO of Google, he was actually asked if he comprehends this. And his answer was, let me tell you something, or let me put it this way. I still don't comprehend human brain. Nobody knows. Like they are trying, but it's still as complicated as the human brain. Now, the interesting thing is that these machines are deep learning, meaning they are auto learning. Okay. And these machines and these supercomputers does not eat, they don't sleep, they don't ask for a salary. Okay. They are always learning all the time. So now that you have access to this technology, now you can think how this is going to affect your business as an entrepreneur, as an employee, as a real estate investor, as a real estate syndicator. How is that affecting your business? Should you be scared of this? Everybody's going to be scared, of course, because we don't know. I mean, the limit is our
change, right?
imagination. It is change. And think about this. When electricity was discovered, people had fear, right? When the fire was discovered, people had fear. Like the biggest breakthroughs and revolutions in history, people had fear and had their concerns. When social media came live, people had their fears too. Internet, it was the same, right? But the internet is here and everybody uses it every day. Okay? It's just part of your life. So AI and all these chatbots are going to be part of your life in 5 years. And I always say something, I always say this, and is that I strongly believe that businesses, okay, that does not fully utilize AI and they don't understand AI and they don't integrate AI with their businesses, they're going to be out of business in 5 years. They're not going to be able to compete with anybody else. And that includes real estate investors, real estate syndicators, real estate operators. That includes clinics, doctors, lawyers, and every industry that you can imagine.
That's a great breakdown. I just think it's helpful for many who haven't heard of AI to think through what you just talked about, how fast the machine learning, right? You talked about the deep learning and how that works and how it's really just compounding, right? I mean, it's just growing so fast. I I do not know much about it. I've used it a little bit, but I can see how the people who use it and integrate it are going to be further ahead and faster, right? No doubt. And I'm not sure the all the implications of that just yet, right? Nobody is. But let's you mentioned investors and operators, syndicators, and speak through some of the like specific uses. Bring it down home for us a little bit. And I think a lot of people probably haven't thought about AI being used in Google and Facebook, even like you're talking about. I know everybody thinks about the ads popping up and whatnot, but I bet they haven't thought about it being around that long, right? And now this Chat GPT thing comes out, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what is this new thing? And so I think it's interesting to think, okay, well, this has been around a long time. It's just not been something that's just been like open to the public, this accessible, right? So give some specific uses, though, use cases for investors. Maybe first, let's talk about passive investors. What are some ways that you can see them using AI benefiting from that?
Well, there are different type of AIs, and there are different that
Sure.
are available right now. There is actually a website that I recommend that everybody checks. The name is Futurepedia AO, okay, IO, futurepedia.io. And it's going to show you all the AIs that are coming every day into market. Now, OpenAI and ChatGPT is the lead on these chatbot things with Google that also after Google saw ChatGPT, they launched Barb, okay, as well. I don't think it's as good as ahead of ChatGPT at all. Okay. But you can try Barb. And the difference between those two is like Barb is connected to the internet. Okay. When ChatGPT is always only trained with data until September 2022, 2021, right? Now, so those two are very important because if you are a passive investor, right, probably you have a job, you have research to do, you can do whatever you can imagine with Chat GPT. As far as you talk to this chat bot as a human, this may sound crazy to you, but everything is about the prompt. Okay. So when you're saying, well, what the prompt is like, what is the right question? You ask the right question, you get the right answer. So if you want to do, for example, market research, you say you have a company and you want to do market research, or you want to strategize and you want to brainstorm with your team, okay, you have now an AI assistant, okay, they can also brainstorm with you. You can create social media calendars. You can create social media marketing strategy. You can create a full strategy for your company, for your new, I don't know, your new venture that you have. But everything is about the prompt and asking the right questions. So you need to tell this chatbot who you are, what is the goal, what do you want for the AI, okay, and who is that you are targeting because you can personalize all this. This is a super brain. This is a supercomputer machine. So the machine is going to understand that if I'm talking to a lawyer and my target are lawyers, it's a different conversation that if I'm talking to a 10 years old or if I'm talking to a teenager. So it can tailor all the information based on the target. Okay. And this is huge for us, for anybody that is into entrepreneurship as well. Imagine how much money you pay before to a company like my company is as marketing. Okay. You pay thousands of dollars to create our consulting, thousands of dollars on consulting to create marketing plans, strategize based on the people. And then you will go back and forth on this. See if you approve it or not. You can create all this right now in ChatGPT in an hour, in 2, in 3 hours instead of weeks of work. Okay. You can create ebooks. You can create a book as well. What is the quality of that book? Well, that depends on you as well. Okay. It can be a crappy book. It can be a really good book. But that also depends of the prompts and how much you're putting into that. So those are some specific examples that you can get with Bar or with ChatGPT. Now, if you are a passive investor, there is an AI that I really like, and there are a few. similar than this. It's called Ask Your PDF. So you're going to plug there in this AI, you're going to plug your PPM, okay? And in seconds, it's going to read and analyze that PPM, and it's going to give you a summary of what the PPM says. And it's going to tell you what questions you should ask, because this AI understands exactly what a PPM is, what a syndication is, and what are the risks of real estate. And it's not only reading that, it's going to give you suggestions. These are the questions that you can ask about this document. Now, you can go back and ask those questions, and it's going to give you the answer based on that document. You can ask, show me in what page I can read about that, and it's going to tell you the page. So those 100 documents that we have that nobody wants to read because nobody understands, there is an AI for that. What do you think about that?
That's incredible. That alone would be so valuable for us by itself. Yeah, I mean, it can be 120 pages, and man, who wants to read that, right? And we should, and we read a lot of them, spend a lot of time, right? I think, okay, is this done right? Is this said right? Where is that thing, right? And you may spend 20 minutes looking for that little paragraph in PPM that you're searching for those few words, right?
What was interesting for me, I took one of my PPMs from 3 years ago in this program, and it was telling me the risk that I will have if I invest in this company. Okay. And it showed this the same risk that you can talk with your investors, like real estate is not, there are no promises return, okay, or blah, blah, blah. One of the things that the only thing is not the only thing that I thought it was not really accurate is that the the program says that this company does not have any track record. So it was interesting because when you have a PPM, you have a new company for each of your properties, right? Okay. So the name of my company, okay, it was not in that PPM. Venus Partners, it was not in that PPM. Okay. So the only name that it was in the PPM was the name that we're using to hold that property, but it's a new property. I was very impressed of how the AI knew that company didn't have track record. I still don't know the answer of that.
I think I mean, it has to be searching the web at the same time, right? Like it's not just looking at the document, but it's like going out and seeking other information.
No, it doesn't work like that. The way that it works is based on parameters. Okay. And parameters are like all this information that we have. Chat GPT is not connected to the internet. Okay. And most these other technologies like open, like your PDF, it's connected to one company like OpenAI, okay, which is Chat GPT. But since Chat GPT is not connected to the internet, it's just a large language model trained based of 100 trillion parameters and a lot of data. Okay. Now, artificial intelligence and things like that has been created since maybe 1990. Okay. But the reason it was not available to us with me is because the computers were not fast enough to process all this data. And we didn't have enough data, okay, for this computer. So if you take a computer from the 80s, okay, and you plug all these parameters, the computer was plugged, okay,
Yeah.
and it will think for weeks before giving you one answer. Right now, we're just in that breakthrough and that a part in history where computers are supercomputers. They are extremely fast, and we have all the data that we need. So it's not searching the internet, it's searching on the information that this supercomputer has, the information that we have created, or the information that we has put out there. And that's why there is some other concerns, right? So if these models are learning themselves and they are learning based on human values, what type of human values are we showing these machines? So the machines are going to be as good or as bad as human being and how we train.
Yeah.
these machines. But this is taking up far from real estate. I need to go back.
Well, you elaborate on just a couple of uses there for investors, which I think are crucial. I bet most listeners have not thought about that before. The PPM and analyzing those documents alone could be so helpful. But what about for the operator as well? What are maybe a couple of uses, and then we'll have to jump to a few things.
Oh, so many. You can, except for everything that I mentioned with marketing, okay? You can actually use it for legal documents as well. Okay. So you can go to Chat GPT, and I have done this in the past. Okay. I have created legal documents, not a PPM, okay, but I have created 1 or 2 pages legal documents that my lawyers will take 7 days. Okay. I have created this in this chatbot, and there, believe me, you can try, create one, put the right prompt, the right information, give it to your lawyer, and maybe your lawyer will make any change, okay, at the end. So it could be as good as that. So you can use it for legal documents. You can use it for barely everything. You can use it for create a job description, okay, for example, to create the amount of people that you need, like a projection of the people that you will need working for any specific department, which I believe it will be less and less people because you will utilize AI. And when you utilize AI, you save time, you save resources, you save money. So you're able to achieve more with the same amount of people that you have. So one of the important things that I have done as an operator, okay, is to analyze, for example, the pitch decks that you have. When you have a property, okay, you have to create a pitch deck. You can actually create it, okay, 20, 30 slides with ChatGPT, and now you have another other AI that will create a presentation for you based on the text, or you will actually you can ask, okay, these technologies market data from a specific market, and it will plug the whole information just right there. Okay. I have done this with live examples in different events, and the information is right in many, many, many markets. Okay. So the data is there. But some other things is interesting is like, for example, we were talking about fireflies. I have fireflies here. And I was telling you that I was analyzing the last podcast appearance that I was. Okay. So fireflies is an AI that is going to transcript everything that we're talking about right now. Okay. And then it's going to give me a summary about what the conversation was. Okay. It's going to give me topics about that conversation, and it's going to give me the full transcript. So I took the whole transcript of a podcast, okay, and I put it into the AI, and I asked specific questions about how make it better, how people understand about AI and real estate better, okay, and how to do like the entry and the middle and the end. And it came with amazing information. So you can do the same thing for your presentations as well. So do your presentation, have your fireflies, analyze it, and then ask your AI, what are the objections that investors will have after you do this
Oh, I like
presentation?
Man, that's a
And
great question right there. So yeah, like what have we forgotten to tell them, right? What have we forgotten to share in our presentation? What kind of AI platform is that you can upload large files like that or do creative things like that?
well, I did that with ChatGPT, but there is also another one that is called infranodus. And I can give you all the links for your audience as well, and you can put
Yeah, that'd
everything
be
that we're
great.
mentioning
That'd be
right
I'm
now.
certainly would appreciate
So
it.
infranodus is going to analyze data. It's going to tell you where the gap is, okay? Which is kind of the same thing that I did with ChatGPT. What is the gap? If you tell this AI what your investors are, it's going to search in all those parameters, okay? And it's going to tell you if your investors are medical professionals, okay, those are the objections that they will have, because you will have to talk to them in a different way that you have to talk to other people,
Right.
okay? So it's an incredible tool. But yes, infra analysis is one. I think that in customer service, we are creating a chat bot, okay, that is going to have all the information of our deals. Okay. So our investors can get questions and answers in real time. So, for example, at the beginning of the year, when everybody start asking where the K1 is, everybody will get an automatic response. If they want to know how their investment is going, instead of going to the portal, opening, logging in, and then searching and see how much they have received, they can ask to the chatbot that information. Okay. And they can get real questions and answers. So what it's going to do, all this implementation that it has been working for the last 5 months, what it's going to do with our company is that we're going to be able to do way more than any other company with less amount of people. And at the end, what is the result of that? Okay. Better returns for the investors, better income in general, okay, less expensive, more income. And that's what we're doing as well with properties on asset management. Asset management is a huge place where AI needs to be implemented.
Mm.
Because if you think about asset management and property management, it's a people business. Everything is done by a person. The leases, the renting, the collection, everything is an automatic task done by a person. If you have good people, your property is doing amazing. If you have okay people, you have to micromanage a lot. If you have bad people, you're in trouble, right? So AI needs to be really, really implemented very strongly into asset management. And some of the things that we're doing here is number one, we're training everybody in AI. All our people needs to be trained. So I have a partial CAIO, which is a new career that has been created with this AI. It's a Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer.
Wow.
And at one point in a few years, it will be as needed as a CMO, a CTO, or a CFO. Right now, it's pretty new. But this person is going to take my team and my managers, and they're going to be trained. Okay. Why? Because managers take so much time in writing an email or doing one small task with the computer that this will be a game changer for them, for all the property managers. We're also implementing leases and collection AI. This is an AI technology that is going to take phone calls, texts, emails, and is going to auto respond to people on collections and on leases. If you think about this is mostly automation task.
Yeah.
If you have to collect money, it's the same day, you knock the door, you make a phone call, you send an email, you send a letter, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it takes, and you have to trust that your team is doing that. But what if team doesn't have to do that? It's just an AI that is not going to complain, that is not going to miss the day, that is not going to forget. It's completely automated and powered by AI. So my manager is still going to be there, but she needs to use her time in something different that is not there. So automations in leasing, connections, training our people is important. Predictive maintenance as well is something that has been running for some time. Okay. So that's where we're starting. But if you think about the future of real estate and AI, the limit is your imagination.
Yeah.
Because right now, Wendy, for example, just to give you one example, Wendy, the burger franchise, okay, they're implementing AI for the drive-through. So right now, their AI is going to take your order, and you won't even realize that this is an AI. The AI will understand everything that you're saying.
Thank you for being with us again today. I hope that you have learned a lot from the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you're telling your friends about the Real Estate Syndication Show and how they can also build wealth in real estate. You can also go to lifebridgecapital.com and start investing today.